Okay, so welcome back. We're going to be getting into working with what we call the master slide or the slide master. And the slide master is basically where you would go to change the way your layouts appear. In other words, when we look at the up here in the layout area here, each one of these different layouts looks the way it does, has the certain font, the bullets, the graphics that it has because of what's in each of these layouts. So what we can do is we can actually go into the master slide area to access each one of these layouts and change it. And by changing it, it will then update all of the slides that are based on that layout. Okay, so let's dig just a little bit deeper. When you look at slide number 2 here, slide number 2 is based on, if we go back up into the layout of it, is based on the title and content layout, all right? So is this one, and so forth. So a majority of the slides, I think most of the slides, are based on that particular layout. Now, if you looked at, let's say, one of the slides with that layout, and you looked at the fact that the bullet is like sitting here, let's say, and then the text starts a little bit beyond that, and then the sub-bullets have maybe a different type of character and a different kind of indent. So let's just say that you would like to maybe bring this a little bit closer to the star, right? Maybe what you want to do is pull this over just a little bit, or even go a little bit further in, and maybe also on that second level make the text just a little bit smaller, because I think right now, actually it is smaller. So we got 32 there and we've got 28 there. So that's okay. But let's say that you want to maybe vary that size as well. Maybe you want to change the font, all right? Well, if you didn't know any better, you would feel that you'd have to go to this slide here, all right? Make the changes, and then do the same thing for this one and this one and this one. And if you had 50, 60, 80 slides, I mean, I'm being a little facetious, but if you had something that large, then that's going to take you a lot of time to fix. And to get it exactly the same from slide to slide, as far as the positioning and things like that, you might be a little off on a few of them, all right? And your audience is going to notice that when you're transitioning from one slide, onto the next. So the main reason why we want to access this master slide area is to be able to go in there and change the layout for these particular slides, so that once we just make that one change to that one layout in the master area, it automatically updates all of the slides that layout is are based on. You might even want to maybe put your company's logo or what have you maybe on all your slides. So graphics, changing the formatting, things like that. These are all great reasons for having the master slide layout. All right, so let's go ahead and see how this is all done. So it really doesn't matter which slide you're on when you're going to be accessing this. What we're going to do is we're going to go back into the View tab, all right? And we're going to go back into the Slide Master button here. Click onto that, and we get this. Now, what happens with all this is that you'll be brought to seeing now all the layouts. So this is the title slide layout here, all right? This is your title and content layout here, okay, which, as I said, was the majority of the slides. When you point to that one, it even tells you that it's a title and slide title and content layout slide, and it's used by slides number 2 through 12, so a majority of our slides. What you'll also notice is that we have this as well, and this is another theme that we have in there, and that was the original theme. That was the original personality of this presentation before I changed it to having the little sunshine icon and so forth. What I'm going to do just for now is that we are never going to be using or going back to this look here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just kind of do a right click on that kind of like the big kahuna of them all. And I'll explain what this is all about in a second, but we're going to just do a right click on that and go ahead and delete that master. We don't need that at all. And now all we have are the layouts for this one here. So let me just retrace this. This is the kind of like the master layout for the title. Okay, when you point to it, it'll say title slide layout used by slide number 1. This one here, when you point to it, it's the title and content layout used by 2 through 12. The rest of these are other layouts, but we haven't really created any slides based on them yet, so it's going to show nothing in there. It's just going to say that it's that particular layout. So our thought is to go into here and change this layout, all right, which is the title and content layout, so that we have different positioning or maybe different bullets or whatever, different sizes for this. All right, so very, very easy thing. So my point is that by just going in here and just changing this, it's going to automatically affect all of the slides that this one was based on. And the other thing we have is the title slide, which is this one here, and we can actually change this one as well if we needed to maybe make something bigger or change colors or whatever we desire to do. The thing with all of this is that if you go to here and change this individually, just by changing the bulleting here, if you change it on the actual layout, that's fine, all right? The problem, though, is that if you're looking to change the bulleting to being the same on all these other layouts that maybe potentially you might be using, if you initially change just this one, all right, then realize that you could have gone over to here to like the big kahuna of all the master layouts. If you changed it here instead, this would overflow into all the ones that had the bulleting. So if you change it here, okay, then this one will change, right? This one here will change to exactly the same. This one is the same, and a few others down there, okay? So if your intent is to keep it the same, for all of them, then instead of going individually to each of these and changing it, you can actually just go to here and change it, and that will then automatically update all of those. So that's a really good thing to know. And just so you know too, if you were to go to here initially and make the changes and then decide that for this one and this one here, you're thinking, I want that to be a little bit different, then you'd have to go to each of these and do that as well. But if you were instead of doing all, and by the way, if you did that, and then you said, well, I want to change all these other ones, but what I'll do there is I'll go to my big kahuna up here, and when I go and change these, it will change all the other ones that were, had the bullet layout like that. But it will not change this one that you originally changed, okay? So if you came in here initially, made the change to this, and then went up here and made a change to this, and maybe this is a little bit different, the change that you made, it will not affect this one. It will only affect all the other ones that use that and then have not been changed, individually. Okay, I know it's kind of confusing, so not a big deal. But the bottom line is that even if you really mess this whole thing up, who cares? You just go in there and you make them exactly the same for each one that you do, right? That's all. But this is a convenient thing. So what I'm going to do, just for the heck of it, is I'm going to change it up here on the big kahuna, all right? So I'm going to go to this guy here and say, okay, I click onto there, and I say that I want the bullet, or at least the paragraph, to be a little bit closer to the bullet, for whatever reason. To be honest with you, I think it's just fine the way it is, but we're going to change it just for this demonstration here, okay? So what I do is I click on that line, and then over here, I'd point to the middle icon, and we kind of talked about this in a latter video or a previous video. But what you do is you point to here, You get that line going down there to kind of line up to where you're at right now. And you would just kind of drag it over just a little bit like that, let go, and it goes over. Pretty easy, all right? Now, maybe on this one here, what you want to do, and this is a good rule of thumb, you might want to get the bullet lined up with the beginning of this. That's kind of like what a lot of people will do, all right? So we'll go to the second level here, right? And we will take this at the bottom, and that will drag both the bullet and the paragraph proportionally. So if I point to this guy here, drag it over, maybe about like that, let go, there it is. That looks pretty good, all right? I think the spacing is okay, all right? Now, if we look at the size of the text, let's go back to the Home tab here. If I click onto this one here, it's 32. This one here is 28. I like to make this just a tad larger, okay? So to do that, I'll just kind of select this whole thing like that. Go to the drop down here, and I can make it 36. Now 36 is way too big. 32, I don't want, that's too small. 36, too much. So what I'll do instead is I'll just go up into here, right up where the number's at, and make that maybe a 34, all right? And then when I enter that in, then it becomes 34. Now that's 34, and I go to this one here, which is currently, what, 28? Unless I want to raise that one to, let's say, maybe 29. So I'll select it like that, go over here. I don't have a 29, so what I'll do is I'll just click onto the right of it there, type in 29, hit the enter key, and there it goes. And then maybe one more little thing that I want to do is I don't like the fact that the title, okay, and you can see the title in each of these, the title is italic. I want to make that, even though it looks nice, let's pretend like we don't like it. So we'll go ahead and we'll select it like that. And then we'll go back here and we'll take off the italic, all right? And we'll give it a shadow look. So we'll go with the text shadow, and that kind of shadows it up a little bit. Whether you like it or not, we'll just pretend like we like it, right? Okay, so there it is. That looks good. Now, by having done it there, now if I go to the title slide, that's got the same title, right? I go to the title and content, there's the title, there are the two items there, okay? And you can see how we got them all kind of lined up. They look pretty good. Now, I'm looking at this, I'm saying, you know, I think this is a little bit maybe too close. I want to change it up a little bit. So I'm going to go back to the Big Kahuna, click on it here, bring that back, or bring it up like that maybe. Pull that one back. I messed that up. Sorry. There we go. All right. And I think I want to keep it like that, but then again, I need to take this one then and move it over just a hair to get it lined up. All right. And if you're a perfectionist, you're going to be in real trouble here because you'll be going back and forth with this going, oh, it's not enough, just a little bit too much. Okay, there we go. All right. And that's about it. I mean, we could change the font if we wanted to. All right, let's also figure that maybe we want to put the logo, let's say your company's logo, on this, all right? And you want to have it on all of your layouts, okay? So what we'll do is we'll do this on the Big Kahuna, all right, of all of the little masters here, right? And by doing it here, it will do it to all of these. If not, we got to go to here to do it, here, here, here. Now, of course, if you wanted to be in different positions, depending on the layout, then you'd have to go individually at each of these and put that graphic in there, right? But since we want to put it in the same position on all of them, we'll just go to this one here, right? And what we'll do is we'll go over to Insert. We'll go to Pictures, right? And let's see, we'll do this one here. There it goes. And we can do that, we can resize it like that. And then we'll take that and we can move it to where we want it. So if we want to make it look like it's hanging, kind of put it like right up there, you can do that, all right? And that's it, all right? So now that we've done that, now if you look at the title slide, that's not going to have it on there, but all of the other ones in here will have it, all right? Now, if you say, well, I want it on the title slide as well, then we would go to here and put it on that one as well. But usually we don't want to have it maybe on the first slide there, you know, on the title slide. But if you did, okay, fine. If you did, what would you do? You go to Insert, you go to your pictures, you'd find your picture, double click it. Again, you'd resize it. Now, my thing is that I want to make sure I get the right size. So what I'll do instead is I'll delete this. I'll just go back over to here. I'll right click onto this. I'll hit copy, right? And then I'll go to my title, right click it, and I'll paste it in. There it goes. So now it's the same size, and I can put it up there and be done with it. All right? So there we have it. So a pretty slick deal there. All right, so now that we've done that, now we can go ahead and take a look at what we've created here. And we'll go over to the Slide Master tab. You click on to Close Master View, and there we go. So there's all of our changes. Perfect. Not bad. Okay. So all of them will have that look to them. Now, you realize that maybe what you should have done is make this a little bit smaller, right? And also have maybe a different bullet to it. Just doesn't really match up real well. There was just maybe come up with something different. So we can actually change that as well if you wanted to, right? So how would we do that? Well, we'd go right back into what? View, right? And then we would go over to Slide Master, right? We would start out on our big kahuna here. Select the second level. And right now I think we had that at 29. So we'll make that at, maybe make it a 28. All right, so make it just a little bit smaller. And then while we're there, we're going to go ahead and change the bullet. All right, so in the Home tab here are all of our different bullets. If we click on this little drop down, maybe find a little different one here. We can maybe do this one here. Or if you want to get a little more adventurous, you can go over your bullets and numbering. Go over here to Customize, all right? And we've got the normal text, which are pretty crazy there. But we can also go and change our font over to the web dings here. So just plain old web dings. There's my web dings, right? And I've got that, see? And I can pick whatever I want for this. So let's just say I want to go with my, maybe with an airplane here. So I'll click onto that. Or actually, better yet, instead of the airplane, we'll go with the, let's see here. I think maybe a little, maybe this guy here. So we'll click onto that, all right? Hit OK, and there it is, right? Now the color of it's going to be black, okay? And I don't know if you can notice on this one, obviously it's a little bit like a darker yellow, gold, whatever. So what we'll do is to change that color, we click onto the color button here, right? Find a color that we might like to have. Well, maybe one that kind of matches what we have there is just maybe this one right there, all right? So there it is. And then we go ahead and hit OK, and there we go. And again, we might want to maybe move this over just a hair, all right? And maybe even move the text out just a little bit like that. I think it'll look good. So we take that. And by the way, too, let me just say one more thing. If you want to make that a little bit smaller, okay, what you can do is you can go back into the bullet here, go to your bullets and numbering. You can change this percentage maybe down to maybe 90, let's say, right? Now you can see the difference here. I'm going to go ahead and hit the OK, a little bit smaller. I think that matches a little bit better. Now that we've done that, we're all done. So we'll go back to our Slide Master. We'll click on the Close Master View, and there we go. So now for all of the slides that have that second level, we'll have that new bullet there, which is pretty cool. All right. So in essence, I could go maybe to here, to this slide, go to the end there, hit my Enter key. I normally would get the star, but I want to go on a level, so I'll hit my Tab like that, and there's the new one in there, right? So pretty slick. Okay, so now any new slides that you add using that layout will have the same characteristics as far as the spacing, the icons, and the color and all that. Now the theme that we originally had is going to be different from what we have now because we obviously modified it. What we can actually do now is save this or save the theme from this now as another theme, like a new theme. So we can have like a before and after theme, because we already have this one. Just so you know, if we go back into the design, we have it right over here, right? Theme number 4. So what I can actually do is save the theme of this and give it another name, maybe update or whatever, and now I've got the best of both worlds. I can either go with the original one that didn't have the graphic there and didn't have the changes to what we had done. So how do we go about doing that? Do you remember? Well, all we have to do is we go back to our design tab, go to our more button there, right? Tell it we want to save the current theme, and we'll call this one Sun, and then maybe we'll call it Maui, I guess. All right, so do that. And then once we've done that, we hit save, and there we go. So now when you go and look in here, you'll see that we've got this one here called the theme 4. We have this one here called the Sun Maui, see? And then the rest of them. So that's pretty neat. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close this real quick here. And I'm not going to save any of this. All right. And now I'm going to go ahead and open up another presentation here. So we'll go with maybe, I'll do the push pins here one. So there we go, all right? And now if I go back to the design, right? Go back to my more button, and over here there's the one called Sun Maui. That's what I want. So I click it, and now it applies it to the entire presentation. Look at that, huh? Pretty cool. Now you'll notice, once you apply a theme like this, that there might be areas where we run off the slide or practically run off the slide on this one here. The rest of them seem like they're pretty good. This one might be a little close here too. For which one that was. This one here might be a little bit close. But in this kind of a situation here, as I had described in previous videos, you might think about either condensing this a little bit. Maybe you can say that for the near term, so maybe what you might try to do is condense this up a little bit, and this is not going to make much sense, but just pretend like this makes sense. I can go in here, maybe shorten this up a little bit, say, well, we don't need all these words in there, something like that. I might even say, you know what, identify issues needing long-term resolution. Well, duh, I think we can figure that out, so maybe we don't even need that line. I can just take this one and backspace it out, pull everything up, and now it looks good, see? So, or you can make another slide, have 2 slides, maybe key issues short term or near term, and have another slide called key issues long term or something like that. But that's up to you. But other than that, I think we've got a pretty good deal here. All right, so I appreciate you watching the video. We've got many more to come, so I appreciate you taking the time and watching this. Take care.